from the Real Fresh Food channel. Y'all remember this bag? And remember what I told you about it? Yeah, that's right. We're going to chit potatoes today. And I'm getting ready to show you how to do it. First of all, let me move this bag out of the way and show you what has happened to these potatoes since the last time we talked. Remember I told you that sometimes potatoes from the grocery store sprout and get eyes on them? This is what happens. That's getting an eye. And here's a seed potato that I have. There's the eyes on that. And what we're going to do is take this one potato and make several potatoes that we can plant and get more potatoes from. Now, first of all, each one of these eyes will produce a vine that, as long as it makes contact with the soil, will make more vines that produce more potatoes. I'm going to go back to the grocery store potato because that's the one I said I was going to start with. See all these eyes on here? This is a big eye right here, but it's a bunch of little eyes on here too. And we're going to do a process called chitting potatoes, where you cut the potatoes into segments and you make sure each segment has an eye or two on there so that when you plant them, each one of these will make a plant instead of just planting the whole potato. Now you can plant this whole potato. You can take it just like this, stick it in the ground, it'll grow. But that's one potato versus cutting it into a couple pieces and having several potatoes to make several plants. It just makes your seed potatoes go further. Now when I say seed potatoes, I mean the potatoes that we're using as a seed to make more potatoes. So this is really how easy it is. You take this potato, see there's an eye here, there's a big one there, there's some smaller ones right here. I'm doing this and there it is. There's a smaller one. There's a smaller one. So what we do is we cut it in a way that we can get the most eyes off a potato. And then the exposed parts, because this is a russet potato, so it's going to be kind of white on the inside. You let that kind of scab over. It'll get like brownish or whatever, but it'll get a tough, like it'll have a tough feeling to it, and that's when you know it's ready to go outside and plant without like rotting in the ground and not growing into anything. Well, I'm going to make some cuts, and then I'll show you, how we're going to do that, because I want to get the most I can out of this potato. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. They don't have a certain shape. You just want to get as much as you can out of there to make plants with. And what the potato is going to do is grow it's going to grow a plant wherever you set it and keep going. Now, there's one eye, that's one group of eyes, and since it's big, it's already started to take a root, it doesn't need that much potato left to grow. Because what the eye is going to do is until it gets nutrients from the soil, it's going to get its nutrients for the rest of the potato that's left. And like I got a couple of eyes on this. Since they're smaller, I made sure I cut it. Well, it's a couple of them. And while this is chitting, and what it's going to do is, see the white part? It's going to see it's already starting to turn brown. It's going to get really like a brownish, see how that's kind of hazy looking right there? I don't know if the camera can pick it up. But it'll get real like tough feeling, like a leathery kind of look on all the white part. It'll dry up some. The inside will still be moist, but it'll dry up some, and it'll be ready to plant. And what these eyes do is they live off of this part of the potato until they get the nutrients from the soil, and they exhaust this potato, and then they keep it moving. Same thing with these other pieces. I left this one bigger because there's an eye here, but these are small here, and there's a little bitty eye back here, and that's not enough to make something. So I left this whole piece so that it can keep going. And on this one, I have several small eyes. So I left enough for because the eyes are going to keep growing while this is scabbing over. So it'll be much bigger by the time I go ahead to plant these in the ground. Now I could have planted them already in this area, but our weather is so um, weird in the St. Louis metro area right now. Our last frost date used to be the 15th of April. Now it's the 30th of April. And normally we would plant our potatoes, right about now, because you can plant them before your last frost date. Like today is 67 degrees, tomorrow it's going to be 38. So I'm not in a hurry to get them out there, because what I want to do is, what in our area, we go from the winter season to a rainy spring and then summer. And if you put these out too early, they'll start growing a little bit, and then we'll get a whole bunch of rain, and we get a lot of rain in our area, and it's going to rot them in the ground. So I'm not in a hurry to put them in the ground yet. I just want to prepare them first. So I take them and cut them up like this, and I'm going to put them in a bowl right now, but what I will do is I'll save old eggshell trays and put them in those slots in the eggshell trays so that they have enough air circulating around them so that they scab over really good. Now to this potato, same principle. All these eyes on here, you just cut it where you can get a nice piece of eye or two on each piece. Now this is a seed potato I bought from a seed company. It still got the dirt on it. But that part right there is going to scab over just like those other potatoes, and they're going to grow the same way. There's an eye right there, so I'll cut this off. Actually, there are two eyes, you just can't see the other one. I'll cut that right there and let that scab over. And it only takes a few days for them to get that way. And I've seen people say, oh, I want my potatoes to sprout, so I'm going to put them in a sunny window. You can. These were in a bag. The grocery store ones came in the bag that they came in. And these were in a brown paper bag in a box that they were shipped in. I just left the box sitting on the floor and the bags inside the box. The room is cool because I usually have a cool house. But there's nothing special that I had to do to make these grow. They just ready to grow. Now, I can cut through here and get these eyes off of here like that. That's another one. And then I'll leave the rest of it like this because there's an eye here and an eye here, and that's more than enough to support that. And then you just keep doing that with your seed potatoes until you get what you need. Now, I'm going to show you something else, because this right here works for russet potatoes, red potatoes, white potatoes, Yukon Gold, which is a brand name, but it's also, a type of potato. The way to grow these works for those kind of potatoes. They go in the ground, like you chit the potatoes. You can take your seed potatoes and you put them in the ground. You space them out in some loose soil and you let them grow. And the general rule is that for every pound of seed potatoes that you plant, you end up with 10 pounds of potatoes when you're done. So if you like potatoes, plant 10 pounds of potatoes and you will end up somewhere close to 100 pounds of potatoes if you have all of your soil is loose and, you water it or something. Because if at some point it's going to stop raining, you still got to kind of go throw a little water on them every now and then. But potatoes really can take care of themselves. If you have the soil conditions right, once you put them out there, it's really like set it and forget it. And for people who say you can't grow grocery store potatoes, I do it all the time. And the fact that they're sprouting in your cabinet means that nobody sprayed them. Well, they didn't get to the part of the truck that the spray got on them to keep them from sprouting. Because I had these potatoes, I think I said in the other video, I might have had those potatoes a week. It was less than 2 weeks, and they had started sprouting already. So I saved them so that I can plant them. Now, I don't know if you've seen grocery prices, but I pay attention to grocery prices. And potatoes cost too much when you can grow them, and it's easy to grow them. And for you can grow potatoes in, most people grow them in the ground, but you can also grow them in a bucket. Now your potatoes will be smaller, but they'll still grow. Or have you seen those Sterlite totes or Rubbermaid totes or 18 quart totes? We usually put sweaters or Christmas decorations or anything in. You can put some soil in those and put a few seed potatoes in the bottom and grow some potatoes. So if you have, um, limited space, or you don't have a yard but you have a balcony, or you have a little patio area because you may live in an apartment, a condo, a townhouse or something, you can still grow plenty of food in those in containers. And I'll be doing a whole segment on growing in containers, because people think that you can't grow a lot in a container, and you absolutely can. Now, this is how you chit potatoes